I Love Agency, and we are back live at DigiMarCon San Diego. And I'm here with someone who's absolutely fascinating, Stephanie with Lights Camera Live, right?
Yep.
And she just got off the stage. She's a speaker here. And so, can you tell the audience about your company and what you do?
Absolutely. So today I spoke with everyone on how to go from unknown to unforgettable. We talked about the art and science of how to captivate an audience, beginning, middle, and end. One of the key messages was really telling them that marketing can never fix a flawed mindset. So before you ever step on stage, before you ever jump on front of a camera, it's very important for you to get into the right mindset. And then once you master that, then it's a matter of, well, how do you structure a presentation, a short form video, a script, a live stream in such a way that captivates your audience beginning, middle, and end?
That's amazing. It's really interesting because as a marketer, I was looking at the statistics just recently, and the human attention span, like research shows that it went from 12 seconds in 2004 to just recently, it's at 8.24 seconds. And the attention span of a goldfish is 9 seconds.
Yeah.
So, folks, things are not getting better. So, what you're doing and what you're saying and teaching people is pretty incredible because you do have a very small window to capture their attention.
That's very true. And I think oftentimes, especially if you're doing a keynote, a webinar, a YouTube, or any of that stuff, like even Mr. Beast is now is experimenting with long form content, and he's finding that it's really about storytelling and structure. And so oftentimes, I think even now, you're just bombarded with a lot of content. So of course you're going to have that banner blindness awareness of like, well, do I like this? Do I not like this? And I think when you add in the psychology aspect of what makes content interesting to people, and you follow that framework, then it's going to make your content really stand out from the sea of sameness.
Yeah. And I think storytelling, I mean, you're the expert here, but storytelling really works across the board. I mean, from social media to being on stage. And there's a really interesting thing is anyone who's done professional speaker training is they say the audience is going to make the decision to pay attention to you within the first 60 seconds.
Yes.
So if you start out with like, hi, my name is so-and-so, and today we're going to cover X, Y, and Z, like they've already decided they're going to tune out, right?
Exactly. So it's one of those things where it's like, well, how do you captivate an audience? And there's different tactics that you can use. Like you and I were geeking out over NLP. There's things like using open loops, embedded commands, metaphors, analogies, because it's not always about telling people what to do, but showing them how to do it and how to do it in such a way with a story that makes them start to imagine, well, what would happen if that was me?
Yeah.
Versus like case study, case study, case study. But how do you get them to be a part of that journey with you?
Bring them into the room with you. Yes. So all this stuff is really fascinating. And I love this kind of stuff. For the people that are listening to us and they're like, hold on, what's an open loop? How do you close the loop? Can you kind of give a little bit of a preview? I know we're not going to have enough time to get into real details, but
think back to, let's say your favorite movie. I'm just going to say Oppenheimer because it comes top of my head.
Sure.
But usually whenever you're watching a movie, there's this opening scene that happens and you're all of a sudden like, well, what just happened? But they don't close that loop until the very end of the movie. All of a sudden you start to see his background, the history, and then you finally get to that point where it brings you back. We call it like a callback.
Yeah.
And then it closes the story for you. But by leaving that open, what happens is that your conscious mind is no longer like, oh, well, is this real? Is Superman really flying? Can Spider-Man really do that? You're so caught up in this story that you forget about reality. And now you're actually in trance. So you're in the story. And then when they close the loop, you're like, oh, wow. Now I see how it all comes together. I feel like most people, when they're doing presentations, when they tell you upfront, so I'm going to talk to you about this today, they already have the expectation. And to your point, they could choose to opt out. But when you leave that door open for curiosity, now they have to pay attention.
Yeah. That's amazing. And so I know that you run a business, besides just being a professional speaker. So can you tell the audience that's listening to us that's probably fascinated as I am, like, what do you do? Who do you work with? And ultimately, how can they find you?
Yes. So I'm a live video strategist. I help my clients go from unknown to unforgettable by leveraging live video and learning how to captivate on command, especially on camera. Clients that I've had have been a whole array. Small business owners that want to be confident in camera, even big, large businesses where they're like, hey, our marketing team really needs to understand how to captivate an audience. And so they'll bring me in for workshops or trainings, things of that sort. And you could always find me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I feel like you're really serious if you're on LinkedIn.
So, do you have a website that you can share with them? And by all means, tell them. And then for those people, spell it out if you need to spell it out too.
Yeah. So the website is lightscameralive.com. And that's the best place to find me to learn about live streaming and video. If you're interested in the NLP and the speaker side of things, that one's actually Captivate on Command. And that's where I work with C-level executives one on one just to really help them take the mess out of their messaging. So then that way they could become top of mind and tip of tongue.
Amazing. Okay, so for me and for anyone else that's listening, it's like, hold on, I want both of these things. Lightscameralive.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what's that for one more time?
The second one is captivateoncommand.com.
Perfect. And Lights Camera Live is for what audience?
Is for live streaming and video.
Perfect. And then the second one?
Captivate on Command is if you want to learn more about NLP, become a better speaker, or just be confident as far as like your decision making and mindset.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thank you.